I'm Sara Terry, and with Hillary, we are this year's Pledge Campaign co-chairs. We've been hearing from a lot of people over these last few weeks, and it's been great to hear how much people love and care for ERUF. One of the common themes that we did hear was about transparency. Not surprisingly, ERUFians want to know the numbers. How are we doing? Folks also wanted to talk about our vision for the budget and what will it mean if we meet our pledge goal. So the first thing I want to do is to tell you where we are today. So on this chart, the red is the dollar amounts, and the black bar is the number of pledging units or households, as I think about it. So on the dollar amount, we have $642,000 dollars worth of pledges to date from 291 pledging units, as we affectionately know them as. So yes. This includes 16 new pledging households and 52 of our households who have increased their pledge. This is all great news. Yep. Give yourselves a round of applause. As we enter our last week of the campaign, we know that we have another about 500K to go. We're in that procrastinators challenge portion of the campaign. I know there's some of you out there. So if you've been waiting for the last minute, this is your day, this is your week, please go ahead and make a pledge. Last year, for example, we had over 350 pledging units, so up around here. And we hope to see that number go up in the next week along with the total pledge amount. And what we're really looking for is everybody 100% participation and everybody doing, what they can. The other thing we heard is that people support the vision that we've all talked about, the vision that we laid out here in this wonderful graphic. And whether that's paying our staff salaries that fall within the UU guidelines, because right now most of them don't, doing more social justice work outside of ERUF's walls, or just increasing our capacity to transform lives. The goal laid out for this campaign, about 1.1 million, is just the beginning of what is needed to see this vision to fruition. And we need everyone to do their part. And then, because this moment is calling us to build beloved community in the face of very difficult times, we all need to do more. I know for Julie and I, we heard Daniel say last week in his excellent sermon, I'll give a round to Daniel, to talk about the budget. I mean, it's so exciting actually to hear about that from the pulpit. That ERUF needs, the current sustainers need to increase their pledge by 15%. So even though we've already actually pledged, it was not 15%. And so after last week's sermon, Julie and I talked to each other, and we're going to go in and increase our pledge again. So, and I want to just say that it's super easy. I'm going to show you how easy it is. You can go on your phone, click Give Now. It's super easy. It leads you right through it. It says Pledge. This is for the pledges for the fiscal year that starts in July. And it says, Take me to the action steps. And right there, you can say Pledge Now and fill in your information. If you want a t-shirt, that takes another minute or so, but you can basically fill it in really quickly and just press submit. It's that easy. So I encourage you to do that. Also, as a little PSA about switching to a new giving system, Tithely. So if you're a sustainer and you haven't switched to that new system, this would be a great time to do that. Now we know not everybody is able to increase their pledges. But for those who can, I encourage you to think about what is possible and plant your seeds today. Thank you.
I'm up next. So you're going to hear a little bit from me. So as the other co-chair, As a poor kid growing up with a learning disability, moving from rural Michigan, put all those things together, moving to fast-paced Raleigh, I found out pretty quickly how to adapt. I learned how to pay attention and weed out the really important stuff, try to simplify the hard stuff. And to some degree, those survival skills have served me well and have allowed me to be a lifelong learner of people, culture, and really processes. But if I'm being really honest, rarely ever math. So, which I think is always a funny thing when you get into like pledge drive stuff. Like there's a lot of math in there. So through the pledge season, I thought I'd share some of my observations. Connection through stories has been key. Planting seeds have been happening for nearly 60 years here at ERUF. And the humble stories of Rick and Georgie as young parents back then, giving of their time and talents as founding members of ERUF, getting started. It's hard to imagine as I think about my life, juggling my career, my marriage, and 2 kids. The resilience of families back then nurturing this vision is really quite impressive. Now, I also have heard stories about how growing isn't always easy. Stories of wrestling with privilege, how to approach dynamic conversations on an evolving culture, even here at ERUF, and taking those extra steps in vulnerability to get to know someone or even have a complex conversation when maybe there's miscommunication that could be happening. Through all these stories, the passion for the future allows us to break down barriers and strive for a healthy future. However, we've also heard stories of plenty of fear and uncertainty in these unprecedented times. And we've had several people say, I wish I could increase my pledge, but there's just no way I can do it this year. And that all makes a lot of sense. Some have made it a point to say, things are really tough right now, but I'm finding a way to either maintain or even figure out how to increase pledges. Well, Sara and I clearly don't have expectations that anyone report back to us on what your intentions are. These types of conversations have allowed us to know your commitment to this place here at ERUF. Another theme has been technology. Sara kind of just alluded to it in her little iPhone chat, but we've heard several of you say, you're not really good with technology, but yet we're hearing conversations that you're sustainers and that you've navigated through many of these portals and the apps to be able to use these impressive skills. Even if the confidence isn't there, you're still doing it, so well done. Transparency. It's pretty clear, and Sara already alluded to it, the passion for transparency in the budget is really coming through as we think specifically about our highly talented staff and how we can best support their living wages. And if you missed it, please do check out last week's sermon from Reverend Daniel. And just knowing how your intentions make a difference in what we can do for the future here at ERUF. Sara and I have received numerous thank yous for leading this charge, which has emphasized the importance for the future. The legacy of those who have also led in the past has also planted those seeds and also has shown what we're building together. We also would be remiss if we didn't thank the numerous of people who have said yes to us along the way, who have said, and I see many of you in the room as well, who have said yes when we needed some help throughout this pledge season. So thank you very much. So as a longtime Lutheran before I came to ERUF, nearly 18 years ago, I strived to be a longtime learner. And as I expanded my learning, this was a place that I believed I could continue to be that lifelong learner. So we can continue to grow and influence and change the world. As we close out this final week of our pledge campaign, we invite you in coffee hour to have some celebratory cake with us. And Sara and I will be at the table. You'll see some more spring-like balloons to welcome you. And you'll be able to ask any questions that you might have about the pledge campaign or any questions that might seem silly, might seem not important, but please do ask. I know for a handful of years, I didn't know how to physically pledge. So there's some stuff you just might not know. So nonetheless, you want to be able to take the courage to do the things that we need to do here at ERUF. So I want to, before I close, set a challenge. During coffee hour, my challenge to you, knowing we're talking about connection, is think about going to connect with somebody with your piece of cake and asking them, what are things that you have enjoyed about ERA from either the past or things that you look forward to in the future? That way our connection continues to bridge us together, and so we know how to look forward. It's truly been an honor to be part of hearing your stories and getting to know more of you a bit more. So thank you for this time and the energy you put into this place, and I'm truly honored to be a part of it. Thank you.